I'm on alphabet. There was stuff to get on my line. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my new talk show called Make a Change. And tonight's topic is we're going to talk about COVID and COVID relief funds because now we're learning that Joe Biden had extended the eviction momentum all the way to July the 31st. And so we want to, and also we're going to talk about how you can apply for those benefits, or if you're having trouble to get any benefits or whatever else, just let me know what state you're in, and I can tell you how to go about to get those things. And I just want you to know that not everyone got to be able to get it. Sometimes people have hard times, but I can help you to get to your local legislator or your government official in your state or your local area. So to help you to get the benefits that you need. And if you're suffering from post COVID like me and you are unable to receive benefits and stuff like that, and you're getting to run around with unemployment benefits, because let me tell you, unemployment are being full of it. They have been denying people for benefits that supposed to be eligible for these benefits, and they've been getting a lot of people a lot of runaround on these benefits. So I can tell you how to. I mean, you're gonna have to keep doing it because, like I said, I've been doing it, and that's what I keep doing. I keep contacting them, which things have not been working in my favor. But sometimes people will slow down the process so you can give up. But we just got to keep fighting for these benefits because you deserve it and you need these benefits for your bills and all kind of stuff. And also, they're also giving people starting the month of July. So if you're homeless and you have nowhere to go, or you're in a financial bind, they also are allowing people to apply for Section 8, and they're giving like Section 8 vouchers temporary. So my thing is that, try to figure out why it takes, you know, them so long to help people that are in financial need and a financial bind, and to help them, what I'm saying. And like I said, I still have my petition that is going on, and you can go to my link, change.org, and also you can sign my petition for reparation for working people who contracted COVID while they was working, and they are suffering from COVID or they have died from COVID. And I feel like these people the government need to pay these people for their service and pay them for their health and help them with their financial expenses, also with funeral expenses and etc. Because we all learned that COVID came from a lab, and it was a virus that was made. And we all know now that we have learned that the virus, that Dr. Fauci knew about this virus. He knew for a while about this virus. This virus first started in 2015, what a lot of people didn't know. And it ended up being in a lab because 3 people prior to in 2015 had died from the COVID. You know what I'm saying? Because they was working in a cage in China, and they was happy to that was cleaning up like the bat species, and I guess that's how they contracted it. And they went to the hospital, and they was very ill. They was very sick at the time, and they didn't know what it was. But as of 2019, I guess when the people in the lab end up getting exposed and they end up going to the hospital. And let me remind you that lab that was doing on the lab, the owner of that lab, she also was working with bats and stuff like that, and with virus and stuff like that. So they took it back to the lab, and they was working on that. And then we found out that Dr. Fauci had funded for the investigation of the COVID. So they knew that it was COVID in 2015. So let's be clear, we haven't learned about the COVID until 2020, 29, I think it was 2020, in March of 2020 is when we learned about the virus, you know what I'm saying? And the first thing they told us that the virus came from frozen food out of China, which that was incorrect because it came from the lab where three scientists, let me be correct, 3 scientists had caught the virus, and they went to the hospital, and they notified the symptom that the other 3 men prior in 2015, what they was having was similar to what those scientists got admitted into the hospital with, and they was having the same symptoms. So that's how they're detected that was COVID, but they knew that it was COVID because when those men died, they took the sample from the hospital from one of those men, and they took it back to the lab to do the research on it. So they was very aware that was COVID. So we just was late with everything. So this is what my show is about, and I know people are like, girl, can you get off for talking about COVID? No, I cannot, because I almost died from COVID, and I'm still suffering from COVID. And I think that people need to be aware of the symptoms of COVID. They need to be aware of how to protect themselves. They need to be aware of everything that's going on when it's related to COVID, I just wanted to educate people about this, just like I've educated myself and I'm learning. And like I said, I don't know everything, but what I do, I go and do my research and I get the facts. And I also learn from other people who also do the research as far as COVID. And we're learning that this virus, it was just not a coincidence. It didn't come from a frozen lab. It didn't come from the frozen food like they say. It actually came from the lab. And, and there's millions of people who are still suffering, even though they're claiming that this pandemic is over with. Now, they was talking about a new Delta variant that is coming through, and they said it's supposed to be more important than the coronavirus, that is more deadly than the coronavirus is what they're trying to say now. And now they're trying to say that it's in the United States. But we have learned that the Pfizer and the Moderna back in India had killed a lot of people. A lot of people had died over there because of the vaccine. And now we're learning that the vaccine are not really efficient as they say. So a lot of countries trying to roll out that vaccine because they're realizing that the vaccine caused people to have heart condition and it caused them to go into cardiac arrest or have long-term heart condition, especially in kids. And now they're questioning if they should be giving this to their to minors, young adults, because of the problems that it's having. So that's the reason why. But yet we still do not hear these things on our news station. We do not hear our government talking about it, but we hear them pushing people to get this vaccine. So, and plus, if you have health condition, I would, really do my research before getting the vaccine, because if you already have health condition and your health condition is really bad, and we know that masks do work. We know if you wear your mask, we know if you wash your hands and social distance yourself, that's the best way to protect yourself. But we also know, I don't want you to take the vaccine and then you get sick or you end up dying. You know what I'm saying? So I would say, get with a medical professor, a doctor, and, really analyze if the vaccine is really for you or you should take it, being that you already have pre-condition health condition. So, preconditioned health condition. So I would say, check with, just do your research on stuff. Do your research about your health and, what I'm saying, and how the vaccine will affect your body. And if you're the type of person that you have had vaccines previously in the past and it have made you sick or you had a bad reaction to it, then I would advise you to take the vaccine. I would advise nobody to take the vaccine until it get FDA approval, and I would wait a couple of years or two just to make sure that that vaccine is really sufficient and it will is going to help you instead of hurting you. Because what's the point of taking something if it's going to kill you? And just like, I had someone on my Twitter page telling me that, yes, the vaccine do kill people, but you still could die with COVID. Well, we already know that, yes, a lot of people have died from COVID, but a lot of people have lived from COVID. Yes, you may have long health issues, but I wouldn't take or you can just protect yourself by wearing your mask, washing your hands, and doing all those things that you need to do, in the sense of, protecting yourself. So if you're not willing to do those things, then, I don't know what to tell you, but I would suggest you to do those things first, because let me tell you, I had COVID last year, and since I had COVID, what I'm saying, I've been having a lot of health issues, concurrent health issues, and nonstop. And so it's very traumatic for me to continuously going through these health conditions, so I would say to those, if you, and if anyone wants to come on my talk show and you have something that you really want to discuss, then feel free, because this is what my talk show is about. It's about discussing things that need to be changed and how we can change it. And it's just not for people that has COVID. It's just for anybody. Like if you're having a situation on your job, then I want you to be able to talk about it. And I shared with you guys last week of why people were saying not that they was not going to get it. And these are nurses, and a lot of nurses are losing their job because they don't want to get the COVID vaccine, and a lot of hospitals fired them. And I feel like you should have the right to refuse any medication, any vaccine. It's according to you or how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, I feel like that should be your right, and you shouldn't have to get a vaccine if you don't want to. And so I have a doctors on here that can tell you why do people still get COVID even after they've been vaccinated.
My friends keep saying, which vaccine should I choose? And what are the real differences between the two vaccines?
Essentially, there's not much difference. Efficacy of both vaccines is about the same. It's about 95%. The Pfizer vaccine is 2 doses with 21 days apart. The Moderna vaccine also requires 2 doses 28 days apart. The main difference is that the dose of the two vaccines are different. So Pfizer is 30 micrograms, Moderna is 100 micrograms.
So I took the Moderna vaccine. Does that mean that it is 3 times more potent than the Pfizer vaccine?
No, yeah, it does not. The difference in the dose is a very practical issue because they had to make a guesswork as to where the sweet spot for the dose of the vaccine is going to be. Pfizer narrowed it down to 30, Moderna narrowed it down to 100. I think in reality, it's somewhere in between.
So what explains the gap between Pfizer and Moderna, the 21 days and the 28 days, and does it matter?
It doesn't matter. By and large, the rule of thumb is that about a month apart is about right. If you stretch it out a bit more, it actually could be even better because you're giving the immune system time to learn. The problem, though, is that people tend to forget to come back if you stretch it out.
What about side effects then? Does it mean that if it's a higher dosage, you are going to get more side effects?
It does look that way, at least in the phase 3 trial data, where especially on the second dose, the reaction to the side effects like tiredness, the rate of fever and all that appears to be more common in the Moderna vaccine compared to the Pfizer vaccine. But we cannot be sure that it's entirely due to dose.
What causes side effects to begin with?
It's our immune response to the vaccine. The side effects is in some way a good sign that your immune system is reacting to the vaccine, right? But for those who did not experience any side effects, the data is showing that you are still getting a good immune response.
Why are we still seeing people who get infected after they have been vaccinated?
Now what we're seeing are actually mutants which are quite different from the original strand. In fact, it's like the syllabus that has been changed. So now when I used to score 95 marks with this standard syllabus exams, I do worse off because it's a totally different mutant, it's a totally different syllabus. But even if we went back to the original strain, the efficacy was only 95%, which means one of 100 people there are 5 of them will still end up with an illness, but we understand them to be mild.
What I'm hearing a lot is people around me saying that you see, you get vaccinated, you still can get infected. So what is the point of getting vaccinated?
Vaccination changes a severe disease to a mild disease, and from mild disease to a asymptomatic disease.
So you heard it from here that even with the vaccine, you still have a chance of getting COVID, and they're saying that you can get COVID with a mild. You'll get a mild side of COVID. So let's hear and see what a mild COVID can cause to you. So this is going to talk about mild cases of COVID can linger in your body for a long term.
Nearly half of COVID-19 patients lying in intensive care units can expect longer-term complications, ranging from brain injuries to liver, heart, and lung damage. But it appears even those who don't become severely ill can have lingering symptoms.
My symptoms were very mild.
An active runner, Emily Bodachon, thought she'd bounce back from the virus. But months later,
I'll start to cough again and my chest gets tight. Like just my upper chest will get tight and I feel like, almost like there's cobwebs in there that I can't get a breath down past it.
a COVID symptom study app tracking 4 million patients in the UK shows while most people recover from the infection within 2 weeks, 1 in 10 may still have symptoms after 3 weeks, and some may suffer for months.
They're being called the COVID long haulers. What we're hearing is that this is a group of patients who didn't necessarily have as severe an initial infections.
Various symptoms include stomach aches, breathlessness, brain fog, and persistent fatigue.
One of the theories out there is this is what we call an autoimmune phenomenon.
Doctors say it's possible that after the infection clears, antibodies and other immune cells that killed the virus can start attacking the patient's own system. Autoimmune responses can also be triggered by other viruses, including Epstein-Barr and herpes, but recurring fatigue was also seen in some patients who recovered from SARS. Some are now asking whether this virus does the same.
This is too early. We really need data. And not just anecdotal stories.
Scientists at Toronto General are now recruiting participants for a large study examining long-term outcomes from COVID-19.
We are really using specialized tools in precision medicine to try to understand why COVID-19 affects different people differently.
Bodachon never imagined she wouldn't be back at work full-time yet. Another reminder of just how unpredictable this virus can be. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
So you heard it from there. That even though you have a mild case of COVID, you still can suffer a long haul of COVID. And it could cause brain fog, it could cause brain damage, it could cause kidney damage, it can cause heart damage, it could cause liver damage, lung damage, it could affect your whole entire body. So you heard it from, and my question again, so even if you have a mild symptoms of COVID, it can still give you a long-term effects. So even if you're vaccinated, I will tell you to still wear your mask, still social distance, and still do proper hygienes to keep yourself safe, because even with the vaccine, you still are able to get COVID, and you still can have a mild case of COVID, can still turn into a severe case and a long term of COVID, and you can suffer long term from it. So you're not safe even if you take the vaccine, is what they're telling you. So you must need to know that you're not safe even with getting the vaccine. So if you're a person that you have a autoimmune disease already, and you have any type of health issues, and you have gotten the vaccine, you still should keep yourself protected even after being vaccinated, because it can still cause you to get COVID, and you still can have a long haul of you can still suffer from a long haul of health issues. So even with a mild case of COVID. And now, these vaccines are only 95% effective. That's Moderna and that's Pfizer. The Johnson & Johnson is only, I think it's 65%. Let me be accurate. 65% accurate, effective towards the COVID. So even if you are vaccinated, you still have a chance of getting COVID. This next one is life after COVID.
Colitis. If your child developed
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Oak Abode. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys an update regarding our COVID-19 experience. If you guys haven't already seen our video about the COVID-19 symptoms timeline, it might make more sense to check that out first. What I'm going to be doing today is first, I'm going to tell you guys about any lingering effects I've noticed since testing positive for COVID-19. We're roughly a month after I tested positive now. And then since we've been getting so many repeated questions on our Instagram, which is Oak_Abode, and also obviously on the YouTube video we posted earlier, I'm going to do an FAQ and I'm going to answer a bunch of those questions all at the same time. Okay, so first up, recovery process. I ended the last video at about day 7 of having symptoms of COVID-19, and I would say I was pretty much felt resolved around day 9 or 10. There are some lingering effects that I'm going to talk about in a second that I still kind of feel, but I would say it took me about 10 days to really feel like myself again since developing symptoms for COVID-19. I didn't receive my positive test until about 5 days in, but I felt like it was about 10 days of active symptoms. Okay, so symptoms as they currently stand. As far as smell and taste goes, it took me about 2 weeks to get my sense of smell and taste back. I will say some smells started to come back a lot sooner than others. So now that I'm about a month out.
Well, this is awkward. I tested positive after having the vaccine, but let me explain. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dr. Jude. I'm an orthopedic surgeon here in London, but I also make content for YouTube and Instagram to try and inspire and inform you. And my last video, I talked about why I had the COVID-19 vaccine, but obviously a lot has changed since then. So yeah, so I'll give you a quick backstory. I've actually worked in 2 countries since the beginning of this pandemic. I started out in Toronto, in Canada, where I was completing a trauma fellowship in the downtown area. It was super busy. I rode the subway pretty much every day. And the nature of trauma surgery is that it's unplanned, so we did operate on a number of COVID positive patients, and occasionally we would even find out their COVID status intraoperatively and then have to adjust what we were doing. But despite all of that, we remained well and we had no problems. I then moved my family back to London, where we've been for the last few months. Again, I'm working in central London, riding the tube every single day. Occasionally it is completely packed with people, but we've been religious about wearing masks, hand sanitizing, all of the social distancing, etc. And actually, thus far, myself and my family have managed to stay COVID-free. But then, of course, the COVID-19 vaccine was approved and rolled out and offered to frontliners. And having assessed the information, I went forward. And so on the 21st of December, I went and had the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, which is designed to be given in 2 doses, 21 days apart. Now, for those of you not familiar with vaccines, it's actually quite normal to have a booster dose with many vaccines. And so we were unsurprised by this information. And I had my first dose on the Monday, the 21st of December. And then 2 days later, I got a phone call from my childminder to say that she had just tested positive for COVID-19. We were all well, we had no symptoms. I have a son who's 1 and a daughter who's 4 who she normally looks after, but we decided to go and get them tested. And lo and behold, my daughter tested positive. My wife and I had tested negative, but we all, as a household, had to isolate for 10 days. So we got Netflix ready, lots of Christmas activities for the kids, and obviously we were in tier 4, which means there isn't a great deal to do in London at the moment anyway, and we were expecting a quiet Christmas. And if you're not aware, London is the epicenter of this new strain of coronavirus, which is said to spread far more aggressively than the original strain. So about a week into our self-isolation, my wife started to get symptoms. She started to feel unwell, lightheaded. She then developed chills. She felt super cold despite wearing layers. And we knew something was up. And then I started to get a tickly throat, a very mild cough, very mild headache. But I was busy at home doing all the things that you do when you've got more time. I was moving our washing machine and, organizing and building flat pack things for my daughter's room. And had it not been for a pandemic, I perhaps wouldn't have paid much attention to those symptoms. But we went and got tested, and my wife and I both tested positive for COVID-19. And so the reason I share this story is because I think my experience lends itself well to what we already know about the vaccine. And that is it doesn't stop you from getting COVID-19, and it takes a while to build up its effectiveness. Now, having looked at several resources, it seems as though it takes anywhere between about 2 to 4 weeks to start building up your immunity. And certainly from the first dose, the scientists are saying that you get about 50% immunity, and then this is boosted up to 95% with the second dose. And it does not give you coronavirus, as we know.
At Mulligan Funding, our priority is relationships.
This is another doctor talk about he
we understand the needs of small businesses firsthand.
had got COVID after the vaccine.
Can be used for any business purpose. Maybe you need
Back for another shift at work.
Dr. Evelina Graver documented parts of her day for us. She calls these days heart-wrenching. 12 to 16 hours inside a COVID-19 unit at North Shore University Hospital. Every one of her patients seriously ill and on a ventilator.
You walk in, and it's hard for me to say, but you can actually smell fear. You smell death.
I definitely feel a lot more confident in what we have to offer regarding patients when they actually come into the hospital. Whereas about a year ago, we were at a complete loss regarding what needs to get done, how do we do it, how do we protect ourselves, how do we protect the patients. So we have certain processes that we did not have a year ago.
Now I'm about to walk into the unit. Be safe, everyone.
I experienced COVID in all different of its facets. As a physician, now as a patient, also as a loved one who lost a loved one to COVID. My grandfather passed away almost a year ago in April. So I've seen it from all sides, and it sucks. I took care of the sickest of the sick patients when I actually ran the COVID units last March, April, May, and June. I was in the back of the ambulance truck with my own grandfather, who also got sick with COVID at that period of time. And I didn't get sick at that time. I subsequently got fully vaccinated beginning of January, and then in the beginning of February, I got sick. My symptoms were very unusual because the only thing that I really felt was fatigue. And at a certain point, my fatigue went from, oh my God, I'm tired, to, oh my God, I can't really move.
You want to be able to put your life on the line and protect, but at the same time knowing that what you could be doing inside, you're bringing home with you and can infect your loved one.
Unfortunately, despite my great precautions with my own child, 2 days later after I got sick, she started having symptoms as well. So I not only was physically distraught by being sick myself, I now was mentally and emotionally distraught because I had no idea how my child was going to tolerate it because she has not been vaccinated. When my patient asked me, well, with your story, would you still recommend it? I would get it. I think that it does lessen my symptoms. I think it decreases the chance.
As a COVID vaccine rolls out this week, questions are being raised by some about safety and side effects. And it seems that not everyone will be lining up for the shots. WPTV News Channel 5's Matt Sesney looks into the concerns being raised by a local healthcare professional.
Jean Marie Naser is a nurse in Boca Raton who says she is not getting a vaccine for COVID. I've looked at the science. I've studied what they have put forth in their studies and their warnings, their precautions, and the side effects, and I am not comfortable to say that this is something that would be safe for myself.
She says she found the information provided by Pfizer and available on the FDA's website.
Not only that it's being rushed, they flat out admit that they didn't do the full study. They haven't provided that information, and that they say they'll follow up for 24 months.
It's something that is alarming to doctors like Larry Bush, who is investigating one vaccine trial in Palm Beach County.
We're constantly looking for any side effects, and we're obligated to report them to the FDA.
Dr. Bush says the vaccines at this point have gone through 3 phases of trials, and he is not hesitating to recommend vaccinations.
I just had 5 people in the office today ask, should I get a COVID vaccine when it's available to me? And my answer is, as soon as you can, I would get mine as soon as I can.
This week, Florida began vaccinating healthcare providers as the governor expects over 1 million doses to arrive by the end of the month.
I'm confident that as more and more people get this, people are going to see, you know what, that's something that would make sense to me, and we're going to do it.
The governor says he won't mandate people to get vaccines, which he adds, if several drug makers can win approval for them in the coming weeks, could end up being largely available to the public by spring. In West Palm Beach, Matt Sezzi, WPTV News Channel.
Hey guys, check this out! I just got IT certified from home after only 4 months of attending.
Okay, this is something else they're not telling you.
Here at 5 o'clock, we told you about those so-called breakthrough cases. It's when fully vaccinated people contract COVID more than 14 days after their second shot.
The nation's top doc, Dr. Anthony Fauci, said he is taking these cases very seriously. And as Louis Bolden reports, the cases are popping up around the country, and there are many breakthrough cases right here in Central Florida.
The first thing somebody says to me is, you got the vaccine, how are you positive?
27-year-old Hannah Rewerts is a physical therapist and has been tested for COVID-19 at least once a week for work since the pandemic started. She says she got her first positive test just days ago.
I was shocked, immediately. I'm like, this has to be a false positive, this can't be right.
But multiple tests confirmed it. She says she was shocked because she is also fully vaccinated. As a healthcare worker, she had her first dose of the Pfizer vaccine back in December, and her second dose 3 weeks later in January. More than 2 months after the second shot, she says she contracted the virus.
So it's very odd.
Rewerts is among a growing number of people. Earlier this month, the Minnesota Department of Health released a health advisory that, along with the CDC, it is investigating COVID-19 infections among people who are appropriately vaccinated, also called breakthrough cases. News 6 checked, and as of last week, the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County has 6 documented breakthrough cases. Sumter County has 6 breakthrough cases, and Lake County has 26 cases.
It is possible because no vaccine is perfect.
Dr. Timothy Hendricks is with Advent Health and says both Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are 95% effective.
The good news is for that very small amount of people that might become infected, that less than 5%, the chances of severe disease is next to zero.
Breakthrough cases are not specific to COVID and can happen with any vaccine, according to experts. Rewerts says 3 of her family members who were also fully vaccinated also contracted it.
One of my family members, actually went to the hospital. I mean, that's pretty severe enough to be concerned about the vaccine.
Rewerts says the health department is testing to see whether she may have been infected by one of the COVID-19 variants that have made it to Florida. She says for now, she and her family will continue social distancing and wearing masks.
I don't think the public is, aware that it doesn't mean you're not getting the virus. And it doesn't mean you're not getting sick. There is still a chance.
And the one thing you should know is every vaccine that's been approved at this point is highly effective at preventing the one major endpoint, and that's hospitalization and death.
Researchers are still trying to figure out whether people who are fully vaccinated and contract COVID-19 can also continue to spread it, which is why they still recommend that people continue wearing masks even after being vaccinated. Getting results, I'm Louis Bolden, News.
Get close to the words of the prophets. God is amen.
Is here with her family's message for others. Janet?
This seemed to happen so suddenly. Last week, Dakota Morgan was a perfectly healthy 15-year-old freshman at Bolingbrook High School who excelled in school and athletics. Now her parents are making funeral arrangements.
So you guys hear that. So protect yourself because you still can get COVID. And this is basically, they're not being honest with you about this vaccine. So if you guys are, if you guys are needing financial assistance because they are allowing people starting July, the beginning of July, that'll be like in actually 2 more days, that you can apply for Section 8, and they're giving out vouchers for those who are having financial trouble or homeless. So if you are, let me know what area you're in, and I can look it up for you to tell you where you need to go and give you the information to the link online to fill out the application. Also, they also have extended the momentum eviction until July the 31st. So you guys, have until July the 31st if you're facing eviction. So the landlord cannot evict you. And if you need it, a eviction momentum form, you could go up under your local job and family service or children and family service onto their website, and they will give you the link, or you can go to the CDC website and you can click on that link there, and what you do, you fill out the form, the questionnaire, and you take that form and you give it to your landlord. And as long as you are experiencing trouble with COVID or whatever else, and that is the reason why you're behind in your rent is due to COVID, then you are protected. So, and also if you're having trouble with getting unemployment benefits and they're still not giving you your unemployment benefits, let me know what state you're living in, what city, and I can look up your legislator, your governor, and all those things, so you could call them and contact them. And what they would do is issue out a letter to unemployment and work on that. And I'm gonna tell you, even though you reached out, unemployment still may give you the runaround, but you just keep pushing it and keep calling your legislator, because that's how you're gonna get the help that you need to get. Do not stop, because that's what they want you to do and stuff like that. So do not stop. So like I said, you can catch me on Mondays and Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make a change, or you can hit me up on my Facebook, on Instagram, Twitter, and also I have a TikTok page. So you can also email me at amandafoyen27@gmail.com. My YouTube page is Make a Change. My Facebook page is Amanda Burns. And my Instagram is Amanda401. So, and also, you can go to change.org. I have already posted the link on Facebook to where you can get in on the Facebook and click that link to sign my petition to help healthcare workers, working people who work during the pandemic and contracted COVID to get reparation. So we're still trying to fight for these people to get reparation. So I'm asking you guys to help me, so that way we can get reparation for these people who have put their life on the line and caught COVID, and they're unable to work due to COVID, or they died because of COVID, or they lost a loved one that was a healthcare worker, was an essential worker, and was working during the time of COVID when they died or when they contracted COVID. So if you agree and you feel like they need to be reprimanded, then please go to my change.org and please click on that link and sign the petition. Now, if you want to donate, you can donate to that petition, but you don't have to donate. I just need 150 signatures so I can push this into the governor's office so we can start working on getting reparation for these healthcare workers or essential workers who have caught COVID, who have died from COVID, or who are still suffering from COVID. However, these people need help, and they need your help. They played a major part during this pandemic as working as heroes and saving lives. And now it's time. It's our turn to start trying to work and help these people, because if they're like me, and this is why I'm keep pushing it, because I was a healthcare worker and I worked during the pandemic, and I caught COVID while working during this pandemic. And ever since I caught COVID, I have not been able to get any financial assistance or any help. And I have been working my butt off, calling legislators, calling unemployment, calling all these people every day. And that's the reason why I'm doing this, so that I can help someone else who may be going through what I'm going through. So if you need help, you just click my bios. And also, I do have a GoFundMe page, because like I said, I am having financial difficulties. And if you could donate, please go to my GoFundMe page and donate. Anything that you can give would help, because me and my family, we're suffering, we're having hard times. And I know people are going to be like, well, you can go get a job. Well, I cannot work because I am totally disabled due to residual for COVID and my health condition. And also I have a daughter who has health condition as well, that suffer from COVID, and we're just asking for help. Anything that you can do or give or whatever you can help with will be appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just think about it. This could be you, because before this pandemic, I did not think that I would be in this situation. I did not think that I would be out of work. I did not think that my health would be this bad to where I cannot go back to work. And I did not think that I would be having financial hardship the way I'm having. So I did not think that this would happen to me, but it did. And just know that we're not out of the pandemic yet. And we're still not out of the woods. So if you see someone out there that is suffering financially from COVID and they're asking for help, please help them, because you never know that this could be you in this predicament. This could be you, and your life can be major impacted. And just because your life is not impacted, please do not down other people who are going through hard times, because guess what? You never know what somebody's mental status is at. You never know what somebody is going through, and you never know. So be of a good spirit and be of a good help if you can help. If you can only support by conversating, being as an emotional support group, then however, you know, it doesn't hurt to do something kind for somebody out of your life. You know what I'm saying? Because I always believed in to give into those that are in desperate need and helping those that are in need. And I never been a person to turn away anybody from help. And I didn't see color or race or any of that matter. If you needed my help, I was always willing to help you. And I was always willing to go out my way to help. Even as a healthcare worker and working as a nursing assistant, I always went out my way to take care of my patient and help my patient. When they need it, you know what I'm saying? I was always willing to go the extra mile just to see a smile on their face, just to make them happy, just to help them, because you never know that could be you in that hospital bed. That could be you having a health issue. That could be you having a financial problem. It can be you going through the exact situation that person is going through. So please don't never try to turn an ear and turn a face or shame someone just because you might be doing in a position and you're doing better at that time. Because guess what? Everybody will have their moments of good and bad. So if you're able to help someone, then help someone. If you're not able to help someone, then don't badger someone for coming out telling their story. Don't make someone feel ashamed, and don't make someone feel bad for opening up their story to you, because this is how you help other people who are going through what you're going through, by telling your story, by getting out there and fighting back, because you're not sitting there playing the victim. You're fighting back and you're pushing back, because you say, guess what? Enough is enough. I'm not just going to lay here and just give up. I'm going to push through it. You know what I'm saying? And people that are suffering from depression, it is very hard for them to get up and push through it. People that have pride moment, it's very hard for them to even stand up and ask for help. You know, so I'm just saying, if you have a heart, please do not, do not badger other people that are going through financial crisis. Because guess what? You never know that you are harassing somebody through their hard time. That may be that day that they go decide to commit suicide. You never know. Just saying kind words to someone will help lift their spirit. Because I'm telling you, on a day-to-day basis, there's always someone that's saying that, hey, I had enough. This is my last day. I can't make it through. And you never know, just by kind generosity words will save someone else's life, will save them for doing something that they refuse to do, and let them know that they have someone that loves them and support them, even if you're not family. You know, what is it good to give to those that you love instead of helping strangers? You know, you never know, just you walking down the street and you're saying hello to someone may brighten up their day, you know, or you see someone who's walking on the side of the road. They may be hungry, you know, and just giving somebody a meal that probably haven't ate all week, you know, and you never know how much that'll brighten up their day. Just giving someone resources, you know what I'm saying, or leading someone in the right direction to get help, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, that can mean a lot to someone. So I'm just saying, do not, please, people have to learn to stop being on social media trying to bully other people on social media, in the person, in school, nothing, because depression is a major key. A lot of people have died from depression and suicidal depression. When you are depressed, you shut down. Sometimes people get in a dark cloud that they cannot come back from. When they get in that dark cloud, they don't know how to bounce back. So sometimes you have to talk them through it. You have to help walk them through it. You know, so don't look down on someone else's struggle, and don't kick someone else down when they're a struggle. Be that helping hand to help them to stand back up after they don't fail. Be that helping hand to help them get through that narrow road. Be that guidance that a person would need to just stay mentally stable. You know, you just calling and checking on your loved ones that you may see going through some things. Please don't judge people. Don't stop the judgment, because I've learned that a lot of people that are on drugs or on alcohol or whatever have drug addiction, that they have drug addiction because they have past life trauma that they have not been able to get over. A lot of people that are homeless, they have had situations that have made them homeless. Some of their own and some of not of their own. But let me tell you something. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. When your mind is in distress, when your mind can control your whole body and your train of thoughts. And when that mind is in a dark cloud and it's in a negative space, it is hard to sometimes bounce back from that. And life trauma can get someone in that negative space and that dark, deep depression. Because guess what? That's why we need people who are willing to shine their light through someone else and help someone to see through the darkness and help them to get through that darkness without being judgmental, without criticizing people, without making people feel shame because they are asking for help. I would rather somebody ask me for help, and if I'm in the need of helping, to help them than have someone to go out there to commit a crime just to try to feed their family. Because let's think about it. A lot of people that are incarcerated, some of them people were just trying to feed their family because a lot of people turned them down for help. And then guess what? You're going to go out there and you're going to do any means necessary to feed your family or to survive. Because when you're in that survivor mode, you're willing to do whatever it takes to survive. So if people are not willing to help, sometimes that's what happened to other people. And never let your pride get in the way of you wanting help or seeking help. You guys have a good night. Till again, I'll be back on Thursday night at 8:30. Anyone that want to be a guest on my show, please hit me up in my email, amandafortin27@gmail.com. If you want to donate, you can donate to my GoFundMe page or to my Cash App. It is $KALIYAH234. That's my Cash App. If you want to be a guest on my show, email me, send me a message on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, or you can also hit me up on TikTok. I do read my message. I do check, and I will hit you up, and I will send you a link on that day. Just tell me what day do you want to come on, and I will give you the link to come on my show. You guys have a great night. Much love. Till the next time I see you, have peace and love and kindness. And as I said before, it costs you nothing to be kind to someone. It costs you nothing to say kind words. And it costs you nothing to be a good Samaritan to someone else. It costs you nothing just to help those. God said, how can you love me if you don't love my people? How can you say you love me if you're not willing to feed and help my people that are in need? You can show your love by helping those. You can pay your tithes by helping those who are in need. By helping someone else that are in need, this is how you're showing your love for God, and you're showing who you really are in spirit and heart.